You are running, but it feels like the forest is running with you. Branches claw at your jacket. Wet needles slide under your boots. Your flashlight beam jerks wildly, catching fog, bark, empty space, never the one thing you needed to find. Your child. Liam! Your voice shatters the night, swallowed almost instantly by towering firs and the low, constant hiss of wind moving through them. No answer. Just the distant thump of helicopters you can't see, the faint crackle of radios somewhere behind you, and the sound of your own breathing turning ragged, mechanical. You trip. Catch yourself on a mossy log slick with rain. Cold seeps through your palms. You don't wipe it away. You can't afford to stop. Because somewhere ahead, somewhere in this dark, endless sprawl of trees, your 6-year-old son is alone, and beside you, attached to a worn orange leash, the dog begins to circle. Slowly, deliberately. Again, you yank the leash without thinking. Not now, you snap, panic sharpening your words. Please, not now. The dog doesn't react the way dogs are supposed to. No barking, no whining, no frantic pulling towards scents you can't perceive. Instead, he lowers his head and keeps moving in a wide, methodical loop, paws pressing careful impressions into the mud, nose skimming the ground like he's tracing something only he can see. Around and around and around. A useless trick, they'd called it. The memory hits you hard, sharp as a snapped branch. Obsessive circling behavior. Neurological issues. Poor candidate for adoption. You had signed the papers anyway. Another shout echoes through the forest. Someone else calling your son's name. Flashlights flare between trees. The search and rescue team is close now, sweeping in a loose grid, voices clipped and professional, urgency wrapped in training, and still the dog circles. Your chest tightens. Anger flares, hot and irrational. Stop, you whisper, more plea than command. Please stop! He doesn't. He finishes the loop, pauses, shifts a few feet to the left, and starts again. This time, his pattern changes, wider, then narrower, like he's adjusting for something unseen. His tail stays low. His movements are slow, intentional, almost thoughtful. Hey, a voice calls from behind you. A rescuer jogs closer, reflective strips flashing in your light. We need to keep moving downhill. Statistically, I know, you cut in, the word breaking apart on your tongue. I know, but your eyes won't leave the dog, because with each circle he's drifting, not randomly, not aimlessly, southwest, toward a stand of trees so dense your flashlight barely penetrates them. Toward a place the search grid hasn't reached yet, you swallow. The air feels thick, heavy with damp earth and pine sap. Somewhere water rushes closer than before. The dog stops. He plants his feet and stares into the darkness ahead. Then he sits. Your heart stutters! Night vision cameras will later show this moment in eerie green clarity. The way the dog's body goes perfectly still, the way his head tilts exactly 3 degrees to the right, the way his breathing slows while yours spins out of control. But right now, all you know is this. The forest has gone quiet. No wind, no voices. Just the distant churn of water and the sound of blood pounding in your ears. What is it? The rescuer asks, stepping up beside you. You don't answer! Because the dog stands again, and for the first time since you entered the woods, he pulls on the leash. Not hard, not frantic, just enough to make a choice unavoidable. You follow. The ground slopes downward more steeply now. Ferns brush your legs, rocks shift underfoot, clacking softly before vanishing into darkness below. The air grows colder, damp enough to taste. You smell wet stone. The sound of water is louder, close, too close. Careful, the rescuer mutters, hand hovering near your shoulder. There's a ravine mapped somewhere around here. The word ravine lands like a blow. Your mind flashes images you shove away instantly, small hands slipping, a body tumbling, silence after a scream. You force your feet to keep moving. The dog stops at the edge. Your flashlight beam catches nothing at first, just blackness. Then, slowly, shapes emerge. Jagged rock walls dropping away, slick with moss, a narrow stream cutting through the bottom far below. It's deeper than you expected. Steeper, deadly. The rescuer swears under his breath. He lifts his radio. Command, we've got an unmarked ravine, off-grid B7. I repeat, unmarked. Your knees weaken. Liam, you scream into the void, your voice tearing itself apart against stone. For a heartbeat, there is nothing. Then, a sound, so faint you think you imagined it. A whimper. Your world narrows to a pinpoint. There, you choke. Did you hear that? The rescuer freezes, tilts his head, listens. The dog doesn't move. He steps forward instead, right to the edge, and lowers himself into a lying position, chest pressed to the ground, head hanging over the drop as if he's pointing. Not barking, not pacing, just indicating again and again, and you shine your light where he's looking. The beam cuts through mist, glances off wet rock, then finally lands on something impossibly small and bright against the dark. A scrap of red fabric. Your son's jacket! Child located. The rescuer breathes into his radio, voice suddenly tight. Repeat, we have visual. Child is alive. Your legs give out. You drop to your knees, mud soaking through your jeans, hands shaking so badly you have to brace them against the earth. Tears blur your vision, but you don't wipe them away. You can't stop staring. Down there, wedged on a narrow ledge just above the waterline, Liam is huddled against the rock face. His knees are pulled to his chest. His flashlight, miraculously still on, casts a weak cone of light upward, trembling with each breath he takes. He looks small, but he's breathing, alive! A sob rips out of you, raw and animal. The dog exhales, a long, slow breath. Night vision footage will later show something else you don't notice now. The way his circling paths, overlaid on a map, form a precise spiral that tightens exactly around the ravine's coordinates. The way each loop corrected for slope, wind, distance. The way his so-called disorder mapped the forest better than any human grid. But right now, all you do is grab his muddy fur and press your forehead into his neck. Good boy, you whisper, voice breaking completely. You did it, you did it. He stays still, grounded, as ropes are uncoiled, as harnesses snap into place, as professionals move with practiced urgency around you. The forest breathes again, and for the first time since your son vanished, hope doesn't feel fragile. It feels solid, anchored, alive. You don't remember standing up. One moment your knees are in the mud, fingers knotted in the dog's fur, and the next you're on your feet, stumbling backward as the rescue team takes over the edge of the ravine. Ropes hiss through gloved hands. Metal carabiners clink softly, impossibly loud in a hush that's fallen over the forest. Your eyes never leave the ledge below. Liam hasn't moved much. He's still curled tight, chin tucked to his chest, as if making himself small might keep the world from noticing him. His light flickers once, then steadies. Even from here, you can see the tremor running through his arms. You're okay, you shout, forcing the words to hold together. They've got you. Just stay still, buddy. He looks up. The beam of his flashlight wobbles wildly, then locks onto you. For a heartbeat, he doesn't speak. His mouth opens, closes. You see his lower lip start to shake. Mom? His voice floats up thin and fragile, barely louder than the stream. Something in your chest collapses inward. I'm here, you say quickly, afraid silence might swallow him again. I'm right here, the dog presses against your leg. Not leaning, not seeking comfort, anchoring. You look down at him, really look this time. His coat is matted with mud and pine needles, his ears cocked forward, eyes fixed on the ravine as if he's still working something out. There's no excitement in him, no triumph. Just focus. A rescuer clips into the rope and swings out over the edge. His headlamp casts sharp shadows across the rock face as he descends, boots finding holds you hadn't noticed before. He moves carefully, testing each step, the rope humming with tension. You did good, someone says behind you. Another rescuer, older, voice low and steady. Real good. You nod, though you're not sure who he's talking to. The descent feels endless. Seconds stretch. Your hands keep clenching, unclenching, searching for something to hold on to. You realize you're counting breaths without meaning to. 1, 2, 3, like you used to when Liam was a baby and wouldn't sleep unless you kept a rhythm. The rescuer reaches the ledge. He crouches slowly, saying something you can't hear. Liam's head bobs. The man slips a thermal blanket around his shoulders. Even from here, you see Liam's small hands fisting in the shiny material, clinging. The dog exhales again, a sound so quiet it barely exists. Only now do you notice how still he's been the entire time. No pacing, no circling, like he's completed a task and is waiting for the next instruction. The rescuer begins the ascent with Liam secured to his chest. The first upward movement steals the air from your lungs. You don't breathe again until they clear the worst of the rock face. As they rise, Liam's face turns toward you. His eyes are wide, glassy but alert. You lift your arm, wave awkwardly, the motion stiff and clumsy. He lifts one hand out from the blanket, a small, shaky wave back. Your vision blurs so badly the forest dissolves into color and light. When they finally reach the top, everything happens at once. Hands reach in. Someone takes Liam from the rescuer. Another voice starts asking questions. Name, age, injuries, how long he's been down there. A medic kneels, already checking vitals, shining a light into your son's eyes. Mom, Liam says again, louder now. You push forward without asking permission. You drop to your knees in front of him, ignoring the mud, the cold, the tangle of boots around you. You cup his face in your hands. His skin is icy. Dirt streaks his cheeks. His nose is red and running, but his eyes track you perfectly. I'm here, you repeat, forehead pressing gently to his. I've got you. He leans into you with a broken little sound that cracks something deep inside your ribs. His fingers clutch your jacket like it's the only solid thing left in the world. Behind you, radios crackle with updates. Child recovered. Condition stable. Begin extraction. Words you will replay later over and over like proof that this moment was real. The dog sits a few feet away, watching. A medic notices him then. Is that? Your dog? You glance back. Yeah, why? She hesitates, looks from him to the ravine, then back to you. He's the one who led you here? You nod. He wouldn't stop circling. Kept pulling me this way. She lets out a quiet breath. That's not standard behavior. You almost laugh. Nothing about him is. Liam turns his head, following your gaze. He spots the dog and blinks. Doggy? That's him, you say softly. He helped find you. The dog stands. He takes a few careful steps forward, stopping just short of the medic's space. He lowers his head, tail still, posture calm. Liam watches him with solemn intensity. Then, slowly, he reaches one small hand out from the blanket. The dog doesn't rush! He waits. Only when Liam's fingers brush his fur does he lean in, just slightly, enough for contact. Liam's hand curls, burying itself in the thick hair at the dog's neck. A shaky breath leaves your son. His shoulders drop a fraction, tension bleeding out of him. The medic smiles despite herself. Guess he approves. As they prepare to move Liam toward the trailhead, you feel the adrenaline draining away, leaving something heavy in its wake. Your legs tremble. Your thoughts start racing again, not with panic this time, but with questions. How had the dog known? Why that ravine? Why that exact ledge? You remember the shelter worker's voice, flat and apologetic? He gets stuck in patterns. We don't really know what triggers it, some kind of neurological loop. You had nodded, pretending you understood. You hadn't. A rescuer approaches, clipboard tucked under his arm. We'll need a statement later about how you located him. You glance down at the dog again. He's back at your side now, leash slack, posture loose in a way it hadn't been all night. Sure, you say slowly, but you might want to see this first. You pull your phone from your pocket with clumsy fingers. The screen is cracked, smeared with rain and dirt, but it still works. You swipe, open the map app the search team had synced earlier, the one that tracks movement. You turn it toward him. A thin blue line snakes through the forest, looping, overlapping, spiraling inward, ending exactly at the ravine. The rescuer's eyebrows lift. Is that his path? You nod. He stares at the screen for a long moment. Then he looks back at the dog, not with casual interest now, but with something closer to awe. We need to show this to command, he says quietly. The word need lands heavy, because suddenly, this isn't just about getting your son home. It's about the dog. Everyone rode off. They move Liam first, wrapped in blankets, secured in a litter, flanked by steady hands and murmured reassurances as they guide him along the narrow trail toward the waiting ambulances at the forest's edge. Gah! You walk beside him until a medic gently nudges you back, reminding you kindly, firmly, that he needs space right now. You let them take him. But your eyes keep drifting back into the trees, back to the place where the ground drops away, back to the dog. He trots at your heel as you follow the remaining rescuers toward the command post, paws silent on damp earth. The leash hangs loose between you, no tension at all. Whatever urgency had driven him earlier has burned itself out, leaving behind a quiet, settled presence that feels almost deliberate. The command tent glows ahead, harsh white against the dark forest. Screens flicker inside. Maps cover folding tables, weighted down with radios and coffee cups gone cold hours ago. As soon as you step in, heads turn. That's them, someone says. The parent. A woman in a weather-stained jacket approaches, her expression focused but not unkind. Incident commander. You can tell by the way everyone subtly shifts around her. I'm Captain Reyes, she says. First, your son is going to be okay. The words hit you like a delayed impact. Your knees threaten to buckle again. You grip the edge of a table to stay upright. Thank you, you manage. Her gaze drops to the dog, lingers. Now, she continues, we need you to walk us through exactly what happened out there. You nod. You pull out your phone again, hands steadier now, and bring up the map. I wasn't searching correctly, you say. I know that. I was panicking. I was just following him. A few people exchange glances. Him? Reyes asks. You gesture downward. The dog sits neatly at your side, tail wrapped around his paws, eyes alert. He looks completely out of place among the radios and screens, like he wandered into the wrong kind of job interview. He started circling, you say. Not randomly. It was controlled, slow. He kept adjusting. You swipe, zooming in. The map fills the screen. Silence spreads through the tent. From above, the path is unmistakable. Not chaotic, not meandering. A spiral. Wide loops at first, then tighter, correcting itself as it converges. One rescuer leans closer. That's not tracking behavior. Another shakes his head. It's not scent trailing either. Reyes crosses her arms. It looks like a search algorithm. The word hangs there. You frown. Oh, what? She points to the screen. Robotics teams use similar patterns when mapping unknown terrain. Start broad. Eliminate space. Adjust for obstacles. Your pulse picks up again. You're saying he was mapping the forest. Something like that, she says carefully. The dog shifts, nails clicking softly on the floor. You feel it through the leash before you see it, his attention sharpening, ears angling toward the screen, as if the shapes mean something to him. You follow his gaze. You see it? You murmur without thinking. Reyes notices. Her eyes flick from the dog to the map. Does he respond to visual stimuli like this often? You swallow. Memories surface uninvited. The shelter room, the scuffed linoleum. The clipboard clutched to a volunteer's chest. He fixates on repetitive motions, lights, reflections, patterns. We've tried enrichment, but he doesn't engage like normal dogs. You had known what normal meant then. I don't know, you say honestly. I never tested it. A technician swivels one of the monitors, pulling up night vision footage from the drones overhead. Green-tinted forest fills the screen. The dog appears as a pale shape moving through darkness. Watch this, the text says. The footage plays. From above, it's even clearer. The dog's path avoids dense underbrush without hesitation. He corrects for slopes. He widens loops near water, tightens them near rock faces. Each circle overlaps just enough to leave no gap unexamined. Someone lets out a low whistle. That's precise. Reyes rubs her jaw. We missed that ravine in our initial sweep. You weren't looking the way he was, you say quietly. The words surprise you as much as anyone else. The dog glances up at you then, eyes dark and steady. For a fleeting second, you feel something pass between you. Recognition, maybe, or relief. Reyes exhales. We're going to need to document this. Document what? You ask. She gestures to the screen. This behavior. If what we're seeing holds up, it could change how we think about non-traditional search assets. Your stomach twists. He's not an asset. She meets your gaze, holds it. You're right, she says. He's not. Her tone shifts, softening. But he did something extraordinary tonight. The word settles over you, heavy and warm. Extraordinary. Later, much later, you sit on the back step of the ambulance while a paramedic checks your vitals out of obligation more than concern. The forest is quieter now. Helicopters have peeled away. Radios chatter less urgently. The dog lies at your feet, chin resting on his paws. Mud has dried stiff on his coat. One ear flicks every time someone passes. A man approaches hesitantly. Younger, glasses fogged with moisture. He introduces himself as Ethan, a volunteer analyst who'd been monitoring drone feeds. I hope this isn't inappropriate, he says, shifting his weight. But has your dog ever been evaluated neurologically? You blink. Evaluated how? He gestures vaguely. MRI, EEG, anything like that. You almost laugh. He was on a euthanasia list, you say flatly. They weren't exactly lining up to run tests. Ethan winces. Right, of course. He crouches a few feet away, not invading the dog's space. Watches him. I worked with a professor in grad school who studied spatial cognition in animals, he says. Most dogs navigate by scent, but a small percentage, really small, seem to build internal maps instead. They remember space, distances, relationships. You look down at the dog again. Like landmarks, you ask? More like geometry, Ethan replies. They see the world in shapes. The dog lifts his head at that. His gaze sweeps the clearing slowly, methodically, as if confirming something. You feel a chill crawl up your arms. That circling they labeled as obsessive, Ethan continues. It might actually be him calibrating, updating his map. The shelter worker's voice echoes in your head, suddenly hollow. He just goes in loops. We don't really know why. You do now. After Liam is loaded into the ambulance, awake, bundled, clutching a stuffed bear someone pressed into his arms. You ride in the front seat, hands folded tightly in your lap. The dog is secured behind you, lying on a blanket, eyes following the road through the rear window. Streetlights replace trees, pavement replaces dirt. The world returns to something familiar. But you don't. At the hospital, everything smells like disinfectant and coffee. Nurses move with practiced efficiency. Liam is wheeled away for scans, for checks, for things you barely hear. You sit in a plastic chair staring at your phone. At the map, at the spiral, a notification buzzes, then another. Someone has shared the drone footage internally. Someone else has taken a still frame night vision. The dog illuminated like a ghost against the forest floor and posted it to a private responder channel. The caption reads, K9 led us straight to him. It's not wrong, but it's not right either. Your phone buzzes again. This time, it's a message request from a number you don't recognize. Is this your dog? Saw the footage. Incredible work. You don't respond. Not yet. Because the dog shifts at your feet, lifting his head, ears pricked, not toward the hallway, not toward voices, but toward the glowing screen in your hand, toward the pattern. You lock your phone and slide it into your pocket. Easy, you whisper, resting your fingers against his collar. One thing at a time. He settles again, but his eyes don't fully close. As if he knows. This isn't over. Morning arrives without ceremony. No sunrise through hospital windows, no gentle easing into daylight, just the hum of fluorescent lights clicking on and the muted shuffle of shoes in the hallway outside Liam's room. You haven't slept. You tried. Head tipped back against the vinyl chair, eyes closed, fingers laced together in your lap, but every time you drifted, the image snapped you awake again. The ravine, the ledge, the exact place your son had been, invisible to everyone except a dog everyone else had given up on. Liam stirs on the bed. His lashes flutter. One eye opens, then the other. He squints, confused. Then his gaze finds you. "Hey," he murmurs. You're on your feet instantly, leaning over him, careful of the wires and monitors. "Hey yourself." He studies your face with serious concentration, as if checking that you're real. Then his eyes drift to the foot of the bed. The dog lies there, curled neatly on the tile, chin resting on crossed paws. Liam relaxes. "He stayed," Liam says, voice raspy. "Yeah," you reply softly. "He did." A nurse steps in a moment later, cheerful but quiet, clipboard tucked to her chest. She checks vitals, adjusts a drip, smiles at Liam. "You gave us a scare, kiddo," she says gently. Liam nods solemnly. "I fell. We know," the nurse says. "You did a good job staying put." She glances at the dog, hesitates. "Is he allowed in here?" You hold your breath. But she just smiles again, smaller this time. "Never mind," she says. "I didn't see anything." When she leaves, you sit back down and finally let yourself breathe at a normal pace. The room smells faintly of antiseptic and something warm toast maybe from a breakfast cart passing by. Liam picks at the edge of his blanket. "He kept walking in circles," he says suddenly. "You look up." "What?" "The dog," Liam continues. "Before you came, I could hear him. Your pulse quickens. You could hear him." He nods. "Not barking, just walking over and over. I thought maybe he was lost too." You glance down at the dog. His eyes are open now, watching Liam closely, ears relaxed but attentive. "What else did you hear?" you ask. Liam frowns, thinking. The water. And rocks falling sometimes. But every time he walked around again, it felt like he was closer. Like the steps sounded different. Different. "How?" you ask. Liam shrugs. "Closer together. Like he was, tightening." The word sends a shiver through you. You reach down and rest your hand lightly on the dog's back. His muscles shift under your palm. Not tense, not startled, just aware. A knock sounds at the door. Captain Reyes steps in, accompanied by a man you haven't seen before. He's older, hair silver at the temples, glasses perched low on his nose. He carries himself like someone used to being listened to. "Sorry to intrude," Reyes says. "How's he doing?" "Hungry," Liam answers, "before you can." "And tired," the man smiles. "That's a good sign." Reyes gestures toward him. "This is Dr. Harlan Moore, Cognitive Sciences," he asks to observe. You straighten instinctively. "Observe what?" The doctor's gaze drifts. "Not to you, not to Liam, but to the dog. Him," he says simply. "The dog does not move." Dr. Moore crouches slowly, keeping his movements measured. He doesn't reach out, just watches. Just watches. "May I?" he asks, nodding toward the floor near the bed. You hesitate, then nod. He sits cross-legged, eyes level with the dog's. "Fascinating," he murmurs. The dog's tail gives a single, restrained thump against the tile. "You see," Moore says, mostly to Reyes, but loud enough for you to hear, "we tend to define intelligence by how closely it mirrors our own expectations. When it doesn't, when it's quiet, repetitive, non-social, we label it defective." Your jaw tightens. "In some cases," Moore continues, "those repetitions are the intelligence. They're not noise, they're processing." He pulls a folded paper from his jacket and opens it. A printed still from the drone footage. The spiral is faint but visible. "This," he says, tapping it lightly, "is not panic behavior. It's problem solving." Liam watches him, eyes wide. "He saved me," Liam says. Moore smiles gently. "Yes," he says, "I believe he did." Reyes clears her throat. "There's something else," she says to you. "Since last night, that still image has gotten out. Your stomach sinks." "How far out?" you ask. "Local responders first," she says. "Local responders first," she says. Then someone shared it publicly. She turns her phone toward you. The image fills the screen, green night vision, the dog mid-circle, forest stretching endlessly around him. Text overlays the bottom. "Unadoptables, rescue dog, leads team to missing child." Your chest tightens, not with fear this time, but with something sharp and electric. "There are already requests," Reyes continues. "Media." "Non-profits. A couple of search organizations." "No," you say immediately. She raises a hand. "We haven't agreed to anything. I wanted you to know." The dog shifts, rising to his feet. He pads over to the bed and rests his chin on the mattress close to Liam's hand. Liam strokes his head absently. "He doesn't like crowds," you say quietly. "He shuts down." Reyes nods. That tracks with what we've seen. Moore studies the dog thoughtfully. With the right accommodations, he says, he could redefine how we approach search and rescue. You look at him sharply. He's not a tool. Moore meets her gaze without flinching. Neither are savants, he says, but they still deserve to be understood. Silence settles over the room. Outside, a cart rattles past. Somewhere down the hall, a baby cries. Liam yawns. I want to go home, he says. You smile and smooth his hair back. Soon. As Reyes and Moore prepare to leave, Moore pauses at the door. One more thing, he says. That spiral. He taps the image again. It wasn't just efficient, he says. It was adaptive. He wasn't following scent. He wasn't following sound. Then what was he following, you ask? Moore's eyes flick to the dog, then to Liam. Absence, he says softly. A place where something should have been and wasn't. After they leave, you sit back down, heart pounding. The dog returns to the floor, settling once more at the foot of the bed. But he doesn't sleep. His eyes track the light shifting across the wall as clouds move outside. Measuring, adjusting, mapping. You realize then that the forest didn't change last night. Only who was paying attention did. You wake to the sound of your phone vibrating itself across the hospital tray table. Not ringing, buzzing, relentless. You fumble for it, heart jumping before you're even fully awake. A spike of old fear punching through your chest. For half a second, you're back in the forest again. Dark, wet, endless. Then you see Liam, curled on his side, breathing slow and deep, one arm flung protectively over the dog's neck like he might disappear if not held in place. You swallow hard and steady yourself. The screen lights up. Missed calls, texts, notifications stacked so thick you can't see the bottom. You don't need to open them to know what they say. The world noticed. You slide quietly out of the chair, careful not to wake Liam, and step into the hallway. The floor is cool under your bare feet. Morning light slants through tall windows at the far end, pale and indifferent. You open the first message. Local news wants a statement. The second, animal cognition researcher asking for interview. The third, is it true your dog was deemed unadoptable? Your throat tightens, not with panic, but with something sharper, protective, primal. You lock the phone. Down the hall, a TV mounted near the nurse's station murmurs softly. You catch your own reflection in its dark screen before an image flickers into place. Night vision green, the dog, mid-circle. A reporter's voice overlays the footage, hushed and reverent. Oh, an unlikely hero in last night's rescue. You turn away before they say anything else. When you return to the room, the dog is awake. He lifts his head as soon as you step inside, eyes finding you instantly. No confusion, no grogginess, awareness. Hey, you whisper, kneeling beside him. You rest your forehead briefly against his. His fur smells faintly of soap now. Someone must have wiped him down overnight, but underneath is still the forest. Pine, earth, cold stone, he breathes out slowly. A matching exhale slips from you without permission. Liam stirs. Are they talking about him? He mumbles. You stiffen. What makes you think that? He cracks one eye open. I heard people outside, he says. They kept saying the dog. You sit on the edge of the bed. Yeah, you admit. They are. Liam pushes himself upright, winces slightly, then steadies. Is he in trouble? No, you say immediately. Too fast. No, not trouble. The dog stands, stretches, then circles once, just once, before settling again, this time closer to you than to Liam. A single loop, a check-in. You notice it now. I don't want them to take him, Liam says quietly. You cup the back of his head, fingers threading into his hair. They won't, you say. And then, more honestly, not without us saying yes. There's a knock at the door. You tense. Captain Reyes steps in, expression apologetic before she even speaks. We've got a bit of a situation. You close your eyes for a beat. Of course you do. She gestures toward the hallway. There are 3 crews downstairs, and someone from a national SAR organization just arrived. They're enthusiastic. About what? Liam asks. Reyes smiles at him. About your friend. The dog's ears flick at the sound of her voice. He does not get up. Can we say no? You ask. Yes, Reyes replies without hesitation. Absolutely. You owe no one anything. The relief is immediate, but incomplete. However, she continues gently, I think you should hear what they're proposing before you decide. You glance at the dog. He is watching the door, not anxiously, not eagerly, assessing. You stand. 5 minutes, you say. That's all. The conference room downstairs is too bright, too clean, too far removed from the forest where all of this actually happened. A long table dominates the space. Coffee cups, laptops, people who look like they haven't slept but are energized anyway, riding the momentum of something big. They all turn when you enter. The room goes quiet. Then someone smiles. We're honored to meet you, a woman says, rising halfway from her seat. And him, she gestures toward the dog. He stops just inside the doorway. Doesn't cross the threshold. You feel the leash go taut. Not pulling, just holding. He doesn't like confined spaces, you say. Several people nod quickly, scribbling notes. The sound grates on your nerves. They talk about potential, about data, about controlled environments and pilot programs, about how what he did couldn't have been an accident. You hear the words, but your attention keeps drifting to the way the dog's gaze tracks the corners of the room, the way his body angles subtly away from the table, the way his tail remains low, still, overstimulated. You raise a hand. The room falls silent again. You're all very impressed, you say. I get that, but you're talking about him like he's a breakthrough, not a living being. The woman who spoke earlier nods. We want to make sure he's never overlooked again. You let out a short, humorless breath. He was overlooked because people didn't want to slow down enough to understand him. Silence. Then a man at the far end clears his throat. What if, he says carefully, we didn't try to change him at all? You look at him. What if, he continues, we built around how he already works? Something in the room shifts. Reyes watches you closely. The man leans forward. No crowds, no force commands, no traditional training, just observation, partnership. You glance down. The dog has sat, right at the threshold, still deciding. You crouch beside him. You don't pull, you don't coax, you just rest your hand on the floor between you, an open space he can choose to cross or not. Whatever happens, you murmur, too softly for anyone else to hear. It's your call. He looks at you, then at the room. Then he takes one step forward. Just one. The people inside inhale as one. You don't. You're too busy watching the dog complete a circle so small it barely counts. And sit. Inside. The room exhales after the dog sits. Not all at once, not evenly. Some people smile. Others scribble faster. A few glance at each other like they've just witnessed something fragile and aren't sure whether to celebrate or step back. You feel it in your bones. This is the moment where things tilt. Not good or bad yet, just irreversible. The dog stays close to you, flank brushing your knee, posture loose but alert. His eyes don't linger on faces. They keep drifting instead to doorways, corners, the negative spaces between furniture, the places people forget to look. He chose to come in, the man at the far end says, voice careful, almost reverent. You straighten. He chose to sit. You correct. There's a difference. A flicker of surprise crosses his face, then, slowly, a nod. You're right. Captain Reyes clears her throat. Here's the reality, she says. Interest isn't going away. If it's not us, it'll be someone else, someone with fewer boundaries. That lands hard. You glance down at the dog. He hasn't moved, but his ears twitch at the shift in tone, picking up what you don't say out loud. Exploitation, pressure, too much, too fast. What are you suggesting, you ask? Reyes meets your gaze. That you stay in control. The meeting ends without a handshake, without a contract, without any promises beyond space and time. You walk out feeling like you've agreed to something enormous without signing your name anywhere. Back upstairs, Liam is awake again, sitting cross-legged on the bed, flipping through a picture book a nurse found for him. He looks up as soon as you enter. Did they want him? He asks. Yes, you say. Liam frowns. Like, forever? No, you say quickly. Not like that. The dog pads over and rests his chin on the mattress again, right near Liam's knee. Liam closes the book and scratches behind his ear, careful of the tender spot near the scar you'd noticed when you first adopted him. Good, Liam murmurs, because he gets scared when people stare. Your throat tightens. That afternoon, a therapist comes by, then a social worker, then a woman from animal welfare with a soft voice and sharp eyes. Everyone wants to help. Everyone wants to ensure safety. By evening, you're exhausted in a way sleep won't touch. The dog feels it. He paces the room, not the tight, frantic loops from before, but longer arcs from door to window to bed, a recalibration. The hospital smells are wrong. The sounds don't settle. You clip the leash on and step outside with him into the courtyard. Cool air hits your face. Damp stone underfoot. The sky is low and gray, threatening rain. He circles once, twice, then stops abruptly, body stiff. You follow his gaze. At the far edge of the courtyard, beyond a line of hedges, there's a service corridor partially blocked by construction barriers. Shadows pool there unnaturally, darker than they should be this time of day. The dog's breathing changes, slower, deeper. You feel it through the leash. What is it? You whisper. He doesn't answer the way dogs are supposed to. He steps sideways instead, adjusts, traces a short arc, then another. His path sketches something invisible on the concrete, an outline, incomplete but intentional. A nurse passes behind you, pushing a cart. The sound snaps the dog's focus. He shakes himself once, like shrugging off a heavy coat, and looks up at you. The moment is gone, but your heart is hammering. That night, after Liam finally falls asleep again, you lie awake listening to the hospital breathe. Machines hum, doors sigh open and shut. Somewhere, someone laughs softly, too loud in the quiet. The dog is curled at your feet. He doesn't sleep deeply anymore. You see it in the way his legs twitch, the way his ears flick at sounds you barely register, the way his eyes open instantly when a shadow shifts. This attention, this scrutiny, it's changing things. In the days that follow, the hospital stay ends. Liam is clear to go home with instructions and follow-ups and stern warnings about staying on trails. The parking lot is full when you're discharged. Cameras, microphones, a knot of people clustered near the entrance, faces bright with anticipation. Your stomach drops. Reyes appears at your side as if summoned. "We can go out the back," she murmurs. "You look at the dog. He's frozen." Not panicked, not pulling away, locked. His body is angled toward the noise, but his feet won't move. His tail is tucked tight, his breathing shallow now, uneven. Too much. You crouch in front of him, blocking his view with your body. You don't touch him yet. You let him see only you. "Hey," you whisper. "It's okay. We're not going that way." He blinks. "Once. Twice." You turn slightly, offering him an alternative. Another door, quieter, leading toward the loading dock. "You don't pull! You! Wait!" He lowers his head, hesitates, then steps toward the open space. Behind you, someone shouts, "There they are!" A camera flashes. The dog flinches. You feel it like a punch. "Stop!" You snap, spinning around before you can think. "Back up! Now!" There's a beat of stunned silence. Then Reyes steps forward, voice like steel. "She said back up!" People shuffle. Murmurs ripple. The pressure eases, but not enough. You guide the dog through the side exit, heart pounding, Liam clutched close against your hip. The door shuts behind you with a dull thud, cutting off the noise. In the relative quiet of the loading dock, the dog sinks down onto the concrete. Not sitting, not lying, just folding. Your breath stutters. You drop beside him instantly, hands hovering, afraid to overwhelm him. His sides heave. His eyes are wide, unfocused, tracking patterns only he can see. "I'm sorry," you whisper. "I'm so sorry. This is the cost. The world finally saw his gift." You don't go home, not at first. Instead, you sit with the dog on the cold concrete of the loading dock, your back against the brick wall, Liam tucked close on your other side. The world feels too loud, too sharp-edged to step back into right now. The dog's breathing is still uneven, not panicked anymore, just stuck, like a machine that keeps running after the power's been cut. You don't touch him right away. You remember what Dr. Moore said. The repetitions aren't noise, they're processing. So you let him process. You slow your own breathing first, in through your nose, out through your mouth. You exaggerate it just enough for him to hear. In, out. Liam mirrors you instinctively, his small chest rising and falling against your arm. The dog's breaths begin to match. Not perfectly, but closer. After a minute, maybe two, he shifts. Just an inch. Then another. His body reassembles itself piece by piece until he's lying down properly, chin on the concrete, eyes no longer glassy. You swallow past the tightness in your throat. "That's it," you murmur. "You're okay." A security guard peeks around the corner, sees the scene, and quietly backs away without a word. Eventually, Reyes returns. She doesn't speak at first. She just crouches nearby, giving the dog space. "That was my fault," she says finally. "I underestimated how fast this would move." You shake your head. "No, it's mine. I let them see him before I figured out how to protect him." Reyes studies the dog. "He needs structure," she says slowly. "But not the kind we usually give." You snort softly. "You think?" She almost smiles. That night, you do go home, late, quietly, through side streets and unmarked exits. Liam falls asleep in the car within minutes, head tipped sideways, mouth open. The dog curls up on the back seat, pressed against the door, watching the road lights slide past like lines on a map only he understands. Your house smells like dust and old coffee and safety. You don't turn on many lights. You let the familiar darkness settle around you. The dog walks the perimeter slowly, methodically, nose close to the baseboards, memorizing again what he already knows. One loop, another. Then he lies down in the hallway, exactly where he always does. The next morning, you make a decision. Actually, you make several. You silence notifications. You forward calls to voicemail. You email Captain Reyes with 3 sentences only. "We're not doing media. We're not doing crowds. If this continues, it happens on his terms," she replies within minutes. "Understood." Then you reach out to Dr. Moore, not for an interview, for advice. He comes 2 days later, alone, dressed plainly, no clipboard in sight. He sits on your living room floor without being asked, palms resting open on his knees. The dog circles him once, twice, then stops. Moore doesn't move. "He's mapping me," Moore says quietly, "seeing where I fit. You watch, heart in your throat." Finally, the dog sits. Moore nods, as if something important has been confirmed. He doesn't need training, he says. He needs boundaries that make sense to him. What does that look like, you ask? Moore thinks. Fewer people, predictable environments, clear opt-outs, and one more thing. What? Purpose, he says, but not pressure. The words settle deep. That evening, after Liam is in bed, you spread out a map on the kitchen table, not a phone screen. Paper. The dog approaches immediately. His posture changes the moment he sees it. His head tilts. His breathing slows. He steps closer, nose hovering, not touching, tracing lines only he seems to notice. You want to help, you whisper. He doesn't look at you, but he sits. You and Moore test small things over the next week. No cameras, no strangers, no chaos, just quiet walks, controlled environments. One rescuer at a time, one problem at a time. The dog circles when something's missing, not lost people yet. Gaps, a dropped set of keys, a hidden object behind furniture, a place where scent doesn't explain absence. Each time, his spiral tightens until it points. Each time, he's right. Moore watches with something like reverence. He's not searching for people, he says. He's searching for disruptions. One afternoon, Reyes calls. Her voice is different. Tighter. We have a situation, she says. Another child, edge of the same forest. Your heart lurches. We have teams, Reyes continues quickly. But conditions are bad. And you're missing something. You finish. Silence. Yes, she says. You look at the dog. He's already standing. Not excited. Not afraid. Ready. You close your eyes. This is the moment you've been afraid of, the moment where protecting him and trusting him collide. You kneel in front of him, resting your forehead against his. This is your choice, you whisper again. Not mine. He steps back, then circles. Once, twice. Then he moves toward the door. The forest is different this time, not darker, not colder, smaller. You feel it the moment you step out of the truck and your boots touch the dirt. The trees don't loom the way they did before. The silence doesn't press against your ears. It's as if the place has been measured, mapped. The dog stands beside you, leash slack, posture loose but intent. His head turns slowly, taking in the shapes of trunks, the slope of the ground, the way mist clings low to the earth like it's outlining something invisible. No cameras, no crowd, just you, 2 search leads, Captain Reyes. That was the agreement. Reyes gives you a look, a question without words. You nod. She signals the others to hold back. The dog steps forward. Not running, not pulling, walking. He starts wide, a large, patient arc through the trees, paws silent on the damp forest floor. You follow, careful not to crowd him, letting the leash form a soft curve instead of a line. Around! Again! The forest smells sharp tonight. Wet leaves, cold stone, the faint metallic tang of water nearby. Somewhere in the distance, a branch cracks. The sound doesn't faze him. His second loop narrows. You notice it immediately. So does Reyes! She stops walking, lifts a hand to the others. The dog adjusts for slope without hesitation, angling slightly downhill, then correcting left where the ground dips too sharply. He skirts a fallen log without breaking rhythm, steps over exposed roots like he already knew they'd be there. Your heart begins to pound, not with panic, but with awe so intense it borders on fear. This isn't luck, this is intention. Halfway through the third loop, he pauses. Just for a second. His head tilts, his ears angle forward, his breathing slows, deepening until each breath feels deliberate. Then he resumes, but tighter now, smaller circles. Each pass brings him closer to a cluster of young firs growing too close together, their branches knitted into a dark pocket of space. You smell water again! Closer than before! The dog stops at the edge of the cluster. He doesn't sit, he doesn't lie down. He lowers his head and stares at the ground between the trees. Reyes' voice is barely above a whisper. You seeing this? Yes, you breathe! You step closer, heart slamming against your ribs. Your flashlight beam sweeps the ground. At first, you see nothing. Then, a scuffed patch of dirt, broken twigs, a shoe print, small. Your chest locks. He's here, you whisper. He came through here. The dog circles once more, so tight it's almost a pivot, then stops again, this time angling his body toward a narrow gap between the firs. Beyond it, the ground drops. Not a ravine like before, something narrower. A drainage culvert, half hidden by brush, concrete slick with algae. Water trickles through it, quiet enough to miss unless you're listening for absence instead of sound. Reyes signals the team. They move fast but controlled, spreading just enough to cover the area without overwhelming it. A rescuer kneels, peers into the culvert. There, he says. I see movement. Your breath abandons you. Hello, the rescuer calls softly. Hey there, you're safe. We've got you. A whimper answers. The dog sits, perfectly still, as if the final piece has clicked into place. They pull the child out minutes later, cold, muddy, terrified, but alive. Younger than Liam, 5 maybe. His hands clutch a scrap of blue fabric so tightly his knuckles are white. As they wrap him in a blanket, his eyes find the dog. "He's the circle dog," the boy whispers. "You suck in a breath. What did you say?" you ask gently. The boy points weakly. "I heard him walking," he says. "He kept going around and around. I knew someone would come. Your knees threatened to give out." Reyes closes her eyes briefly, then looks at you. "There's moisture there. She doesn't bother to hide." Night vision footage will later show the moment the dog stopped, how his body aligned perfectly with the culvert entrance, how his final circle encompassed the exact coordinates of the missing child. "But you don't need footage. You were there. You watched a pattern become a miracle." When it's over, when the child is gone with medics and radios buzz with relief instead of urgency, the dog stands and walks back to you. No hesitation, no collapse. He presses his shoulder lightly into your leg. Grounded, whole. You crouch and wrap your arms around him, burying your face in his fur. Your breath breaks apart against his neck. "You did it," you whisper. Again, he doesn't react like a hero. He just breathes with you, slow, steady. The forest exhales. You expect the aftermath to be loud, press conferences, headlines, endless questions tearing at the edges of what happened, trying to turn it into something simpler, something portable. It isn't. Instead, it's quiet, deliberately so. Captain Reyes keeps her word. Official reports are clinical, stripped of anything sensational. The footage from the second rescue never makes it past internal review, not because it's hidden, but because everyone involved agrees on something without needing to say it out loud. They got what they needed. Proof. The rest is unnecessary. At home, life tries to return to its old shape. Liam goes back to school with a doctor's note and a quiet reputation he didn't ask for. Teachers watch him more closely now. Kids ask questions he doesn't always answer. Some days he comes home tired in a way that has nothing to do with homework. The dog waits for him every afternoon in the same spot by the window. Always there when the bus pulls up. Always still. You notice changes in yourself too. You flinch less at sudden sounds. You sleep longer stretches. You walk the forest trails again, but only in daylight and only with the dog at your side. He still circles sometimes. In the backyard, on hikes, in unfamiliar rooms, but now you don't interrupt. You watch. You learn. Dr. Moore visits once a week, never unannounced, never for long. He brings no equipment, just questions, observations, and a deep respect for the space the dog needs. Together, you build something that doesn't have a name, not a program, not a unit, not a service, a protocol. When a search stalls, when maps fail, when scent dissipates, when probability runs out, Reyes calls you. Not every time, only when the problem isn't where someone is, but where something is missing. You always ask the same question before you say yes. How many people? Reyes always answers honestly, and if the number is too big, you say no. The dog never seems disappointed. He understands limits in a way people struggle with. The first official test happens 6 weeks later. No press, no lights, no crowd. Just a lost hiker, an overcast afternoon, and a section of forest that refuses to give up its secrets. The dog works for 40 minutes. Then he stops, sits, looks at you. You feel it then, not fear, not doubt, but certainty. "He's not here," you say quietly. Reyes nods. "Trusts it." They expand the search radius. The hiker is found 3 miles east the next morning, alive. No one argues with the dog after that. Still, the world presses at the edges. Emails arrive daily, offers dressed up as opportunities, funding proposals, carefully worded promises that all circle the same idea. Scale this, brand this, own this. You delete them all. Instead, you write something yourself, not a press release, a boundary. It states clearly what the dog will and will not do, how long he will work, how many people can be present, how environments must be prepared, how his consent will be measured. Some people scoff, most don't, because results have a way of quieting skepticism. One evening, as rain taps gently against the windows, Liam sits at the kitchen table drawing. You glance over his shoulder. "It's the forest! Trees in uneven lines!" A spiral sketched lightly in pencil, almost invisible unless you know to look for it. At the center, a small stick figure waves. "Is that me?" you ask. Liam nods. "And that's him." He adds a dot beside the figure. "Dark, solid. He knows where people are," Liam says. You tilt your head. "I thought we said he knows where they aren't." Liam considers this seriously. Both, he decides. But he listens better than everyone else. Later that night, after Liam is asleep, you sit on the porch steps with the dog beside you. The air smells like wet cedar. Somewhere nearby, an owl calls. The dog rests his head against your knee, not because he needs comfort, because he chooses proximity. "You're not broken," you say softly. Words meant more for yourself than him. You never were. He exhales long and even. The same breath he let out at the edge of the ravine. The same breath he took after the second child was found. The breath of something at peace with its purpose. Inside, your phone buzzes. A single message from Reyes. Another request came in today. I said we'd ask him first. You smile faintly. You look down at the dog. He doesn't move. Not yet. The call comes just before dawn, not a ringtone, a vibration, soft, insistent. You're already awake. You've learned the difference between resting and sleeping, learned how to lie still without fully letting go. The dog lifts his head the instant your phone stirs on the table, eyes meeting yours in the dim light before you even reach for it. Reyes's message is short. 2 hikers, sudden storm. Terrain unstable. We don't know yet if this is a yes. You sit up slowly. Outside, the world is gray and unmoving, as if holding its breath. Rain beads on the window, suspended between falling and staying. You look at the dog. He doesn't stand. He doesn't circle. He simply watches you, steady and unreadable. This is what consent looks like now. Not eagerness, not obedience, presence. You swing your feet to the floor and kneel in front of him. The wood is cold under your knees. You rest your forearms lightly on your thighs, keeping your hands to yourself. This one might be hard, you say quietly. We don't know if they're alive. His ears shift, not forward, not back, neutral. If you don't want to, you continue, voice low and even, we don't go. That's it. The silence stretches. Then he stands, not fast, not slow. He takes one step toward the door, then another. Your chest loosens in a way that feels almost like gratitude mixed with grief. Okay, you whisper, okay. The storm hits the higher elevations harder than expected. Wind drives rain sideways, needling your face. Branches sway and groan, shedding water in sudden bursts. The forest smells raw, torn leaves, churned soil, exposed stone. You keep the group small. 3 rescuers. 1 dog, 1 parent who knows when to step back. The dog works differently today. His loops are wider, slower, as if accounting for instability. He tests the ground with careful steps, avoiding slick rock without needing direction. When the wind gusts hard enough to steal sound, he pauses, recalibrates, then resumes. You feel the pattern before you see it, the way his circles begin to drift downhill, the way each pass pulls slightly left. Water again, always water. He stops near a bend where the trail collapses into a wash of mud and debris. A tree has fallen here recently, roots torn from the earth, leaving a cavity beneath it. The dog does not approach the hole. He sits and waits. Reyes doesn't rush in. No one does. You move closer, heart beating slow and deliberate, and peer beneath the roots. Hello? You call gently. If you can hear me, you're not alone. For a moment, there's nothing but rain. Then, a cough. Weak, but human. Everything accelerates after that. Ropes, blankets, careful hands. They pull the first hiker free, shivering, alive, eyes unfocused but breathing. The second is wedged deeper, semi-conscious but responsive. Both alive. When it's over, when they're carried away toward safety, the dog steps back from the edge and shakes himself once, thoroughly, sending droplets flying. Task complete. You sink down onto a fallen log, exhaustion washing over you in heavy waves. The dog comes to you and rests his head against your thigh, not seeking praise, just closing the loop. Later, much later, when the rain has softened and the forest returns to something gentle, Reyes walks beside you down the trail. You know, she says, there are people who will spend the rest of their careers trying to explain him. You smile faintly. They can try. And you, she asks, what will you do? You think of Liam, safe at school, of the porch at night, of maps on the kitchen table, of circles drawn in pencil and dirt and light. We'll keep listening, you say. That's all he ever needed. At home that evening, Liam greets you at the door, arms flung wide. The dog slips past him and heads straight for the hallway, circling once before lying down. Liam watches him, thoughtful. Does he know he's famous? You laugh softly. I don't think he cares. Liam nods, satisfied. Good. That night, after the house goes quiet, you stand at the window and look out at the dark yard. The dog sits beside you. The world beyond the glass is full of unknowns, of people who will get lost, of places that don't want to give up their secrets. But now, you know something you didn't before. Some minds don't move in straight lines. They move in circles. Careful, deliberate. Closing in on hope.